All right. So as we move forward, right, and with that, this moving forward, uh, we we really, what I want to say, get away from cells and tissues and a lot of cellular processes. And just as chapter 15, it was updated on the school's website that we begin this uh, project, well, not project, but concept, and that is of what we call evolution. Then, okay, it's kind of hard to see, but it will pop up there. So, what is maybe the first thing that comes in your mind when, um, like for some people, if you close your eyes and you are walking along the beach, what might be the first thing? You're not seeing anything because you have your, yeah, it might be the smell. So that's the first thing that may come to mind. So when you see this term evolution, what's maybe the first thing that comes to mind? Limbs would probably be a good example. There's two things we think of. Yeah, all of them are true. Evolution by natural selection or because of adaptations. Okay, so it's also considered maybe as survival of the fittest, if you want to look at it that way. So if that is the case, that can be attributed to size. Okay, and when we say that, the largest land animals then would be who? Yes. And when we get to the mammals, that's when you start categorizing these into the different orders of the class Mammalia, which we see there's an elephant on here. And if being large is such an evolutionary advantage, okay, which elephants are, I think, which you would agree, uh, why aren't a lot more or a greater number of mammals large like that? Okay. Well, for the most part, let's look at it this way. When it comes to the reproductive modes of animals that are larger, in other words, gestation periods. Okay. For those of you in egg or egg-related classes, when you are talking about gestation times or even agricultural terms, what does that mean? How long what? Right. That's true. So if that's the case, the is it the larger the mammal, the longer the period of time? For the most part, yeah, that's a good rule of thumb. So when we look at it this way for swine, which are maybe get to be two-thirds the size of maybe bovine, when you think of swine, does anyone know approximately their gestation time? It's a little over 3 months, okay, almost four, okay. But then when you look at bovine, that's about the same as human, so it's 9 months. And then when you get to larger mammals like that of the elephants, then it's probably 2 to 3 years. So what could happen is if a population like that crashes, which means a large number of them maybe die off for one reason or another, okay? So if a large number of a certain population, for some reasons, not that they go extinct, but maybe are or die for some certain reason, could be maybe a toxin or a poison, for that population to rebound, we're even in human terms, you're probably looking at almost 20 years, and you're looking at an animal that has a gestation time of twice that of almost a little over twice that of humans. You're probably looking at maybe even 40 to 60 years for that population to say recuperate to where it was. And what is it that maybe drives evolutionary forces? Well, it's going to be probably changes to the environment. Can I have my stapler, please? I can catch it. You can throw it up my face too. As long as you don't throw it hard. Okay, so with that, see, I thought I'd put that on tape, so if it does hit me in the face, you say, well, you told me to. All right. Where were we at about populations, right? But is it possible to, it's going to be different geological changes maybe that is a drive in evolution. And probably food would be an example, predation. Would elephants have to worry about predation? Okay? Not man. Okay? Okay? So with that, again, the larger the animal, the more food it's going to have to take in. Also, when we talk about how the Earth used to look, not how much on a global scale, but the land mass scale. At one time, we theorized it was what? It was all together. So when that began to break apart, these animals. All right. Okay. Okay, so one of the things we said, do all animals survive by becoming larger? Well, no, that's not the case. Us as humans, we can't survive by becoming, what do I say, larger the tallest individual you would believe is how many feet tall? I believe probably 8 feet would be, it's pretty difficult for a human to be that tall. It's just, it's too much stress and strain on that individual joint. So becoming larger is not always going to be an evolutionary advantage. Some animals will survive more, what do I say, more prevalently by becoming smaller. And that's what we refer to as what a pygmy animal is. So we will watch this for a little bit, then I need to send you down to